So there really seems to be a top four, I think, of golf resorts right now in the country, and in no particular order. And comment below if you guys have any that if you agree or if you have any that you'd add to this. But it really seems to be Pinehurst, Bandon, Pebble, and Streamsong in terms of the four main resorts for golf. Do you agree with that? That's what I keep hearing and reading all about those four seemingly nonstop.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Again, no, when you really think about it, what would even be in the conversation there? Like, who are you leaving out? You know what I mean? I can't.
Whistling Straits.
Sure, Whistling doesn't feel like a huge resort. Whistling feels like a more of a one-off, if you will, type of thing. Whereas Bandon, Pinehurst, they all position themselves as we have all these courses and all these amenities. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just a marketing thing. But, yeah, I don't think we're leaving anything out there when it comes to that top four. That top four is as strong as it gets, too. And it's impressive that Streamsong, which I believe Streamsong is the one that is the newest, unless it's Bandon, but they haven't been around for, like, Pinehurst is, you know, I mean, the home of golf, and, you know, there's so much history there. Pebble Beach obviously goes without saying, and everything
Pebble
that
Beach has
provides.
multiple courses, obviously.
But Streamsong and Bandon, what they've been able to do in the market and what they've been able to create is and how quickly they've done it is pretty impressive.
So, I mean, yeah, if you think about Kohler, you know, and if you want to put, of course, you know, Whistling Straits, Black Wolf Run, Erin Hills, is that part of it? I don't know if it is. I don't know. I think Streamsong's the one that really has been on the rise that you hear about a ton. If you want to talk about some of the other ones that might deserve to be near that dinner table of top 4 or 5, Kiowa Island, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
Would be up there as well. But then again, then you talk about some other, whether it's Sea Island or whether it's Robert Trent Jones or whether it's Cabot Citrus that's really coming up in Florida. I'm trying to even think of some East Coast ones that would be considered a resort. The East Coast has a ton of great clubs and a ton of great courses, standalone courses. You think about certainly the private ones, whether it's you know, Winged Foot or you think about Liberty National, you think about Oakmont. But those are just incredible. The Country Club, those are just incredible clubs. Friar said, but from a pure golf resort standpoint, again, Bandon, Pinehurst, Streamsong, and Pebble seem to be just the gold standard in the country.
I couldn't agree more. And it's impressive, too, because, you know, they're pretty much all just in these remote locations. Pinehurst and Pebble Beach might be a little bit different, where you can actually get access to other areas and restaurants and bar scenes and things like that. But when you go to Streamsong and you go to Bandon, you're there. Like,
Pinehurst,
you're not going anywhere, you know?
Southern Pines, apparently, there was one of the cart girls that I was talking to that was mentioning how Southern Pines is a good spot to go out.
Oh, interesting.
We ended up not. But she mentioned some karaoke spots, whatever. It seemed kind of dive bar-ish,
Right.
which is great. And there's a lot of great golf courses around Pinehurst as well. But Pinehurst, once you're there, you're kind of there as well. But there's still that element of nice dining,
Right.
bar scene, restaurants.
On property.
Weddings there at the Carolina or, you know, where we stay. There's all these different pockets. There's a little downtown Pinehurst district with a few pubs and bars. So you still have that scene, but again, it's all people who are there for the golf resort.
Right.
You know, it's not like you go to PGA National in West Palm and then you go to Jupiter or you go to downtown West Palm or Palm Beach and it's just
Whatever
people
you
who
wanna
live
do.
there, tourists or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. Also, I mean, let's be honest. When you're playing and staying at a place like Abandon, Streamsong, whatever it may be, you want to play well. You know, I don't think it's you don't want to be out until 2 a.m. and you're barely able to, you know, wake up,
Yeah.
you know, at 7 a.m. and you're groggy and hungover and all that. You probably don't want to do that, you know. Whereas if you're going to a lesser resort or something, you know, even, you know, a PGA National or something that has a bunch of nightlife, you're probably not as worried about how well you're going to play the next day or whatever it may be. But I would want to play well. Even you, I thought, when you went to Pinehurst this past year, I thought you wanted to not take it easy. I mean, you'll always rally, but you want to walk and experience it and, like, you know, not be exhausted when you're playing it.
No, and I won the trip. I mean, I tied for first because my buddy Sean, who I love, was getting, I didn't get any strokes, so I was just giving strokes, which is fine, and that's the beauty of golf. But Sean ended up, backing his way into tied for first with me on the last day, which was great.
Doesn't sound like you're salty at all. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't paired. So I was paired with the other guy in our group who was me and him were kind of battling for the number one. So we kind of thought it was a straight up match, and it was we had a great time, and I beat him, but it was pretty close. But then Sean, so we look at the scorecards, and he had a good round and Pinehurst number 2 and had a ton of strokes and backed his way into tied for first, which was great. And I look forward to doing a trip with them again next year. We're actually doing a Michigan one next year. So we're going to play Arcadia. We're going to play Kingsley, which I can't wait for. And I forget the other one. I have to look at the itinerary for September. But Michigan, of course, has some great resorts that get national attention. Boyne gets national attention, 11 courses now. I think Arcadia is getting to a point where they're going to get, especially with adding a third course now with a dozen, they're going to start getting more golf resort type attention. You have 3 courses now. It started with just one. Now you have Arcadia Bluffs. The South is great, arguably better. And now the dozen, which, I'm not a huge, I'm not overly in love with these 12-hole, 14-hole courses, just personally. But
Same.
But it's still going to be a nice addition to any golf trip.
It's a good entry point for people who maybe, are a little bit intimidated by 18 and by something as magnificent as Arcadia Bluffs. It's a good social thing to do. It's good for people in the area to just pick up the game and play.
And I respect.
I get it.
Yeah, and I respect them trying to do something different than just the par 3 short courses, because those are easy,
right.
and that doesn't require much design or much yardage or anything. It's just a par 3 courses that range from 70 yards to maybe 120.
Where you go, you grab a beer or a cocktail at the bar, you barefoot, you grab a wedge, you grab a putter, and you go play. I mean,
Right. And it's fun.
It's the perfect thing to do when
The
you're
cradle
on property
or
and there's nowhere else to go.
Bootlegger forest. Yep.
Right, exactly. And Boyne obviously is adding their par 3, which they've always had the par 3, but they're really investing in updating it and making it something special,
Forest
which is cool.
Dunes, it gets. Add another course now, should be getting attention more nationally as a resort. But again, that's another one that's in the middle of nowhere. We've said before that it'd be great to see a study done on the top golf resorts in their proximity to an international airport.
Yeah, right.
And you look at, obviously there's some like Myrtle Beach, and that's right. That at Myrtle Beach Airport, I've only flown in there once, which is just because I needed to fly somewhere. I flew there and back, had lunch just to get my Delta stuff last year. And that airport is right by, like 8 minutes from the downtown Myrtle Beach area.
It's
very
very
great.
close. Yeah.
A couple other ones that even might be worth noting to crack that list of the true top golf resorts in the country. The Greenbrier, which is historic, that gets in West Virginia. Makes sense why they would be there. I'd love to see that bunker that's there too for that used to be used for the government in case of potential emergency. Also, PGA Frisco in Texas, I guess that's kind of a new headquarters, PGA of America. But the other one that makes sense, I guess, why it's in here is really growing, and that'd be Big Cedar Lodge.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In the Ozarks, which is a great show, by the way. So in Missouri.
Yeah, I've heard great things about that. Talk about something that shows well on social media. Gosh, I'd love to go and check that out. But again, how easy is it to get to?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, again, if you can fly private and you can get anywhere.
Well, right.
But in terms of the international ones, it's
tough.
A lot of these are tough. Even going to Pinehurst, it's an hour and 15 away.
Right.
Pebble Beach, I don't even know how exactly close that is to San Francisco International Airport, but a lot of these golf resorts are kind of in the middle of nowhere. Boyne, I know, has made a very concerted effort to spend and to advertise specifically to cities that are flying direct to Traverse City, which makes sense on one hand, but on the other hand, it's not like Traverse City is exactly close to Petoskey.
No, it's still an hour and a half. To where you need to be. If you're going all the way to Harbor Springs and actually Boyne Highlands to get the champagne and the welcome area, it's quite literally an hour and 20 minutes.
Now Harbor Springs has a private airport as well. They but it's a very short runway. I've picked my buddy up on it before. you can't fly big planes into there at all. I don't even know if you could fly a G6 or a Citation 10, or you could get away with the smaller planes. But yeah, I'd be very curious to see that study. So before we wrap up, what's the number one resort that you really want to go to? As we've been talking about all of these,
I really want to do Bandon. It just, and I don't want to be the cliche golfer of, wow, it's the experience and you're on the coast and, cliffs and things like that. But they've done a great job of just turning that into a destination you have to get to.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere, I've really never been. I've been to Oregon a few times for work way back in the day, but it just looks spectacular. And I love the idea. It's all walking. You're playing 18. You're on property. There's different restaurants, bars, whatever. Good camaraderie with the guys. And it's truly, and I don't know when I'll be able to do this because I have 2 kids now and all these responsibilities, but it's a 7-day trip, 6-day trip, you know.
And West Coast time sucks,
You get out there, it's great. On the way back, you lose an entire day.
It's a whole different process.
Not to mention the 4-hour drive from the
it's almost
airport,
too much.
And
That
so
alone
you got to
is-
commit to it.
That alone just
Right.
almost turns me off, as amazing as it would be. I think Pebble Beach would be great. That's so cliche. I'm not dying to go to Pebble Beach. The one I'd really love to do is Whistling Straits, and maybe it's because I went there for the Ryder Cup. But I'd love to go play Whistling. That's a quick, easy trip to Wisconsin. So I think that would Whistling Straits would really be, I think, mine. But again,
I get it.
I think everyone, if you ask them, would you like to play Pebble Beach? Of course they would. You know what I mean? So that's almost like you can't say it. I would rather go overseas and play a resort. I know this is about the U.S. courses. I'd rather go to Ireland or Scotland and play over there. That'd be my number one. But here domestically, it would have to be. I really would give Whistling Straits the nod, even though that's Midwest, not too far or whatever. It's a lot to go out to the West Coast.
It is.
There's
no doubt. That's why it's something you commit to. It's very specific. You're planning way ahead to make it happen. But, very
again,
different from a quick flight to Florida or whatever it may be.
And these are resorts, I think that there's a lot of golf trips you could do. The Trent Jones Trail, a lot of the several private courses that open Masters Week down by the course. There's a lot of cool trips you could do. Not dying to do Stream Song, or I've played a ton of golf in Florida. It's always tough. I'm not
Apparently
dying
it's
to.
very different. It doesn't feel like you're in Florida at all, apparently. So,
well, obviously.
I'm very intrigued by it.
Comment below. Do you guys agree with that Bandon, Pinehurst, Stream Song, and Pebble as the top 4? Comment below if you have any other ones, and where is your bucket list?